What's up guys, today we are going to be doing another game animation review, and this time the game is going to be Shadow of the Tomb Raider. Now, for those of you who are new to the channel, how I usually break this up is in 3 sections. That's going to be Traversal, Combat, and Cinematics. So, let's start off with Traversal. For Traversal, I have core animations and additional or context animations. So let's go over the core animations. Firstly, we have the walk cycle. Now, one thing I have to say, this walk cycle is really weird, and I had to really go frame by frame and figure out why it was weird to me. So the first thing we notice is that there's no real extension of the leg during the contact pose. It's always overly bent. I mean, even her arm is bent, even through the whole animation cycle. There's little to no movement on the upper body whatsoever. So usually in a contact position of a walk, the leg isn't going to be fully extended, but there is going to be ever so slight bend. But in this, it's really just overly bent, and it makes it seem like she's hunching or at least crouching while she's walking, which gives it this weird feel to it. In addition, the hips lag behind, which gives a weird jerky feel to the movement of the animation. Lastly, we have the hips being excessively stiff. There's little to no sway in them whatsoever, which really makes this feel more of a masculine, male walk as opposed to a female walk. So next up on the core animation list, and that is going to be the run. I have to say, not to nick this game, not to be nitpicky, but the run cycle is weird as well, and it's the same problem that the walk cycle suffers from. Her leg doesn't extend on her contact pose, but I mean, surprisingly, it does on the passing. So you have this weird run cycle where her leg isn't fully or even 90% extending. So it's like a stomp walk or a stomp run cycle that makes it look weird with the motion. So once again, I don't know if this is a stylistic choice, but it's a very weird choice to say the least. Next up on core animations, we're going to go over the idle. Now, I have to say, AAA games, actually all games currently, they're really slacking on the idle animations. I remember back in the day where the idle animations used to be fun, where you have Crash Bandicoot, he's doing a little funny dance or he's playing with the yo-yo. I mean, idle animations should be fun for the animator. They should be a chance for the developer to really sell the personality and the moment of that scene or the environment that they're in. I don't see why they really slack on these animations. Unfortunately, Shadow of the Tomb Raider is no exception here. I harped on this with Spider-Man, how there's so many chances for them to really do something with his idle animations that they just didn't do anything with. With Shadow of the Tomb Raider's idle animation, all she does is look down and rub her arms. I mean, that's it. I mean, when it comes to just no effort put in, this is the way to go. Now, I do have to say, the second idle animation is far superior. There's a lot of movement in this animation. There's almost like a double dutch, and you can tell that she's ready to go. She's ready to move. There's even subtle, great facial animations that they add onto it, which if you look at her face, you can tell that the stakes are high. There's a little bit of frustration and anger and excitement in her face, which compounds with her body. In addition to that, there's various speeds in the animation. You have the footsteps that are going fast, her arms are medium to fast, pace, and then her head movement is very slow. So this is a good rule of thumb that many animators go by, is that you want to incorporate 3 speeds in every animation you do. You want to have a fast, you want to have a slow, and you want to have a medium speed in the animation. It really breaks up the timing and gives a lot of variety to what the viewer is looking at. So last up on core animation, we're going to be looking at the jump. And I have to say, I really like this jump. I really love the arc and the path of the arms. It feels really organic and natural. It looks even better moving. The left arm leads the action and then follows with the right, and it's beautifully blended in. One thing I do see that's a little funky in my opinion is that left leg, or I guess I should say the right leg, it crosses the body really, really far, which makes it look a little funky because no one's really going to be jumping like that. So I'm sure that's an artistic choice. But overall, the jump, it's a really nice jump, and it looks even better in motion, which I'm sure is what they designed it for, given that the characters, you're always going to be pushing forward, you're always going to be moving forward in the game. So now we've covered the core animations, let's look at some additional animations such as, some contextual animations. Now, two of my favorite animations, because there are a lot of animations in this, especially traversal and contextual animations, but two of my favorite animations have to be the push animation and when she opens the gate. They are amazing. So first we're going to tackle the push animation. If you just look at this pose, the pose is beautiful. I don't know what to tell you. The pose is absolutely amazing. You can tell it's heavy. You can tell what she's about to push is heavy just by looking at the pose the animator set her in. Her torso is darn near parallel to the ground. She's really crouched down like she's about to push something. As soon as the animation starts, you can get a real great weight that is shown. How far, her hips dive down to the ground and all of her body weight is behind it. You can tell she's putting in a lot of effort and a lot of force to really push this thing forward. And it's beautifully animated. I love it. I love doing this. I wish there was more stuff that I could push in this game. So this leads me to my second favorite animation, and this, you know what, it's a toss between the two, I really have to say, because this animation, this reads amazingly, and it's not as easy to do, because she has a little pickaxe, and there's a little subtle moving hold to show the silhouette of the pickaxe. Like, we can read the pose at what she's doing, and then there's this great whipping motion that follows, and when she goes into the lock or to the gate. The really great lines of action showing a struggle, and then the follow-up, her opening the door, man, it absolutely sells the struggle. That follow-through shows all the effort, all the build-up, and then the release. So those two animations are by far my favorite in the entire game. Now, of course, when there are amazing animations, there are going to be, your lesser animations, which aren't going to be seen most of the time. In this case, it's going to be the ledge animation. Her traversing on this ledge, it's really stiff, and there's a lot of twinning going on with the legs. I'd like to see a little more overlap of the body and a little better blending of her moving from position to position. Other than that, I mean, traversal animations are flawless. So guys, moving forward, let's go into combat animations. And this is going to be a very, very quick section because there's not a lot of combat emphasized in this game. One animation is done for the melee attack, and it's a 2-hit animation, which is okay. There's nothing really crazy about the animation, and then I'm writing home to mom about. They try to sell it a little more with the camera animation by zooming in on the second hit. Doesn't really work. It's a little weak in my opinion. But the next animations are going to be the takedown animations. Once again, they're solidly done. They're solidly animated. Nothing crazy. One thing I don't like is that you can be maybe a few feet off from the person, hit the takedown, and the person just snaps into like this pre-rendered takedown animation. It's a little jarring for me, but as far as animation goes, it's nicely done. So guys, we're finally at the home stretch, and that's going to be the cinematic animations. And I have to say, this is definitely AAA level quality cinematics. It really, in some cases, feels like a movie, especially when the music starts to swell on certain key moments. It's really beautifully done. Like, you can really see the great acting in the game, and you feel the emotion of the scene. I absolutely have no complaints of these cinematics. They're nicely done, just like all of the traversal. So after everything we've covered, to give this game an animation score, I have to give it, out of 1 out of 10, I have to give this a 9. The animation is really beautifully done. It's really heavy on the traversal, not so much as the combat. And the traversal animations, you feel the weight behind Lara Croft. The cinematics, great acting, the movement, it feels very realistic and really organic. Great stuff here, I have to say. So guys, that's gonna be the video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please feel free to like, share, comment, subscribe, and until next time, keep animating.